Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Try and hold this microphone at the right angle to avoid feedback. On behalf of 7 Better Row and Dawson Cornwell, we're absolutely delighted to welcome all of you to the True Awards 2023. We have both 7BR and DC have been involved with these annual awards since they first started in 2015. And we've come to know just how hard the team at IKWRO worked to put this event together, to recognise the work that has been done and the journey that has been travelled by many of you. IKWRO continues their work, offering free advice, advocacy and counselling services, and operates a refuge, providing safe accommodation and specialist support to vulnerable women. They work in partnership with other organisations, offering advice and training for professionals. IKWRO continue their work to increase awareness and improve laws and policies to tackle all forms of honour-based abuse and harmful practices, including forced marriage, child marriage, marital captivity, female genital mutilation, virginity testing, and hymenoplasty. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the lady behind this fantastic work at IKWRO, who has dedicated her life to campaigning for universal human rights. And it's not getting easier, is it? I'm proud to hand you over to the lady behind IKWRO, Diana Nami, the Executive Director. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I am delighted to welcome you on the eve of International Women's Day to IKWRO, Women's Rights Organization, True Honor Award 2023. Which way is the correct? Sorry. This way? Okay, yeah. It's wonderful after the pandemic to be able to come back together at our first ever hybrid award ceremony, with the advantage of both connecting in person and reaching you far and wide online. The True Honor Awards are close to our heart at IKWRO, as they provide the opportunity for us to all come together in celebrating of each other, to inspire and strengthen our collective movement to end honor-based abuse. The True Honor Awards also commemorate those who cannot be with us because their lives have been stolen by honor crime. Their perpetrators have tried to erase them, but will never let them be forgotten. 6 months ago, in September 2022, we learned that Gina Mahsa Amini, a 22 years old Kurdish Iranian woman, had been arrested and beaten by the morality police in Tehran, Iran. 2 hours later, she slipped into a coma, and 3 days later, she died. News of Gina's murder sparked the Women Life Freedom Revolution. The movement is led by inspiring women with incredible bravery and determinations. Since then, thousands of people have been arrested. Many, including children, have been beaten and tortured, including through rape, and hundreds have been murdered by the oppressive Islamic regime of Iran. Despite the authorities' brutal attempts to suppress the revolution, it has gained true momentum. Women life freedom is being chanted across the world. We are hopeful that we will finally see an end to decades of oppression of women and human rights in Iran. And not only Iran, but Middle Eastern and other places of the world. Stand with IKWRO in solidarity with Women, Life, Freedom Revolution, and call on IKWRO and on the UK government to step up pressure on the Islamic regime of Iran to immediately cease, arrest, and torture and release all the political prisoners and stop execution. Here in the UK, it has been another challenging year, disproportionately affecting all facing disadvantage. The impact of the pandemic have been deepened by the cost of living crisis. There is a further layer of disadvantage for the women and girls that IKWRO serves, who are at risk of honor-based abuse. Women and girls who have broken away from their perpetrators cannot turn to the family and community members for financial or practical support. And many women and girls fearing this situation continue to endure abuse and risk significant harm. Now more than ever, the work of IKWRO is vital. We need your support to ensure that we can continue to provide specialist services through our advice and advocacy team, counseling and refuge, which provide a trusted lifeline to women and girls at risk of honor-based abuse, and so that we can challenge harmful practices and create laws changing through our training, advocacy, and campaigning. Tonight we have reason to celebrate. This year we have shown that real change is possible when we listen to and work closely with the survivors that we support, to identify and campaign together for change that will transform the rights of the next generation. In April 22, IKWRO's Virginity Does Not Define Me campaign succeeded in changing the law banning two harmful practices, virginity testing and hymenoplasty, and challenging the false, harmful notion of virginity. And just last week, on Monday, 27th February, we achieved another groundbreaking change to the law. After 4 decades long campaign, the Marriage and Civil Partner Minimum Age Act has officially become law, meaning that it is now illegal for any child in England and Wales to be subject to any form of child marriage, including outside the UK. I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who played a role in helping us achieving this milestone changes. In particular, love and gratitude to survivors who so bravely shared their life experience and views and shaped and powered this crucial progress. I would like to thank IKWRO staff, volunteers, and our board of trustees for their dedications and skills. I would also like to thank our founder for their crucial support, which enable us to have such an impact. The True Honor Awards would not be possible with the help of our wonderful judges and our team, eventually event sponsors, 7 Bedford Row Chamber, Dawson Cornwall, Mukhtar Singh, and the Association of Asian Women's Lawyers. Thank you also to everyone who put nomination for work, and to all the nominees for all you have done and continue to do, taking a stand against honor-based abuse. I am now excited to hand over to Simon is not here. To hand over to Sahar Zand, reporter and filmmaker and patron of IKWRO, and as well as Nicole Jacobs, who is the Domestic Abuse Commissioner, who will announcing the nominees and presents the certificates. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, thank you all very much for being here tonight. Do bear with this mic. I might have to just sound like this to speak with you. How is this? I just wanted to say a big thank you for every single one of you for being here tonight on the eve of International Women's Day. And it's very important. I mean, in order, like Diana said, in order to make a change, to take a step. And by being here tonight, every single one of you are taking a step. And as a British Iranian journalist, I would also like to very quickly touch upon what's happening in Iran right now. For the first time in decades since the Islamic Revolution came to power in 1979, my sisters in Iran finally daring to fight the strict morality. In a fight for dignity and equality, they're taking off their headscarves, some of them burning them in bonfire while chanting Zan, Zendegi, Zan, women life, Zan, Zendegi, Azadi, women, life, freedom. And the Islamic Republic is clearly desperate to kill any and all hope. The crackdown has been brutal. Over 500 people have been killed on the street, around 100 of them children. Nearly 20,000 people have been arrested. There's been a series of hasty trials, forced confessions, and public executions of the protesters. But as history has shown over and over again, the light of hope emerges from the depth of darkness. And that's exactly what IKWRO and Diana has been doing for years. As she said, they've managed to ban child marriage. Oh, I don't know what to do with this. Should I just shout? Did you hear me, right? Okay. Maybe I'll talk without it. As Diana just said, that hard work over the years, even though at times I'm sure it seemed impossible, as it does in Iran, as it does in any other society where people are being oppressed, as long as we persist and remain hopeful, change is possible. So congratulations. And it's my absolute honor to be here amongst you and a lot of other inspiring people who are doing amazing work. Hear me? How is this? Yes? Like this? Yeah, it's working. No projection. Love technical. Actually, that's the reason I'm here tonight. So thank you. So we'll now be announcing the nominees for the True Honor Awards 2020. We'll be hearing about nominees' lived experiences and work around honor-based abuse. If you find any of the information that's being shared triggering, please do feel free to take a moment and take some time out in the room next.
Thank you. I'll try. I think. Does this sound any better? No,
I think so.
Hello. Oh, yeah. Let's try it. Okay. Thank you. I'm Nicole Jacobs. I'm the domestic abuse for England and Wales, and equally, I am really honoured to be here, and just want to reiterate all of the amazing words and accomplishments of IKWRO and the team, and all of you who are supporting IKWRO. And I will keep it to that because I know that we have some awardees to highlight in honour. And the first are Gorita Gibbs, Gabriella Bernard, and Kirsty Hornall, and Alice Iglesias. Alice, Gabriella, Gorita, and Kirsty work together as social workers. They believe that all children should have the best chance of life, able to pursue their aspirations and live a life that is happy and safe. They recognize to do this, their parents or carers and families need to feel safe, strong, and happy themselves. They are nominated for their exceptional approach in support of a mother who was vulnerable and herself a victim of abuse and her children. They work closely with IKWRO to understand more about so-called honor-based abuse and the complexity of the challenges and cultural sensitivities. Their work is an example of best practice. Have a very shy. Here we go. Wonderful. Do you want to? Would you like? Oh, you're going to do them outside. So anyway, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. We have Andrea Simon from the End Violence Against Women Coalition here, who's also here to help. So I might help pass over if you're okay, if you caught your breath.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely fine. I'm really sorry. I apologise for being late. I had transport problems, which is why I'm a bit later to arrive. But yes, I will. I think we're at a point where doing the next, award, and then I can come in afterwards. But it's lovely to be here. Just as by way of introduction, because I haven't been able to do that yet. My name's Andrea Simon. I'm the director of the End Violence Against Women Coalition, and I'm really happy to be here and to be included in this wonderful awards ceremony. IKWRO is a long-standing member of the End Violence Against Women Coalition, and we've been long admirers and supporters of their work. So, thank you.
Lynn Cotter. Lynn has worked for the Prisoners of Conscience Appeal Fund for 22 years, 19 of which as its director. She continues to support the charity as a patron. POC provides relief and resettlement grants to prisoners of conscience, individuals and their families who've been persecuted for the non-violent expression of their beliefs. Through this work, Lynn has supported many inspiring women imprisoned and abused for their human rights activities. Lynn assisted the Iran Tribunal, a people's tribunal that focused on the mass executions of Iranian prisoners in the late 1980s. This culminated with hearing at Amnesty International and a symbolic tribunal at the Peace Palace in The Hague.
Oh, I think so.
Thank you. Congratulations. Our next certificate is going to Katerina Giamarassi. Katerina works as the Victims Programme Coordinator at a London local authority where she contract manages specialist service for Middle Eastern and North African women who've experienced honour-based abuse, including women with no recourse to public funds. She's lobbying for continued funding and expansion of the service. Katerina is a founding member of the London Harmful Practices Strategic Partnership, which centres the expertise of global majority-led by and for agencies to tackle harmful practices and honour-based abuse in London. Katerina delivers training and community events to raise awareness of harmful practices. She recently organised an event in solidarity with Iranian women. And is currently organising an event exploring forced marriage in the context of modern slavery.
Katrina, thank you for all the work you're doing.
Okay. They're not leaving. They're just getting a picture and coming back.
Jason M. Hayden M. Jason is a barrister at St. Ives Chambers in Birmingham and has a door tenancy at 14 Chambers in London. He co-wrote a successful book on children's law called How to Represent Yourself in the Family Court. Jason has handled complex cases involving honor abuse for 20 years. He's challenged local authorities that have failed to recognize and address risk of honor-based abuse. He speaks at events with charities and IDVAs to explain the court process. He's currently working with academics and Women's Aid to change the law so that the finding of facts in Children's Acts proceedings are available to help prevent a pattern of perpetrators destroying numerous lives.
Jason, thank you for everything you do to end honor-based abuse. Please come forward.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next, we've got Dr. Maz Idris. Dr. Maz's research, spanning 17 years, focuses on violence against women and men in South Asian communities, including honor-based abuse and forced marriages. He was awarded his PhD in 2018, for which he interviewed survivors and key agents involved in honor-based abuse. He's published widely in a number of academic journals and has also published 2 edited books on honor-based abuse.
He gets the best dressed award.
Imran Odabokus. I'm hoping that I pronounced the surname correct. Imran is a family law solicitor and heads up the domestic abuse response team at the Family Law Company. His casework includes protecting children from FGM, forced marriage, and honor-based abuse. Research by the firm showed that honor-based abuse offences in England rose by 74% in 5 years. That's between 2016 and 2021. With numbers rising steadily year on. With numbers rising steadily year on year. Not just in major cities, but across the UK. Imran is working to champion awareness of honor-based abuse within the legal sector through national press coverage and training.
Imran, thank you for all you do to take a stand against honor-based abuse. Unfortunately, Imran could not be with us tonight, but we will make sure to get his award to him. And next, we turn to Tina Hua. Tina is a gender-based violence consultant. She has successfully delivered training and workshops on honor-based abuse, prevention and response strategies to thousands of people globally. At NGOs, schools, community groups, private and public sector businesses for over a decade. She's passionate about raising awareness and firmly believes safeguarding is everybody's business, everyone's responsibility, and that every child and adult deserves to be protected from abuse and harm.
Tina, thank you for all the hard work that you do to stand against honor-based abuse. Please come to the front to receive your certificate. Next up is Dr. Joycelyn A. Scott. Joycelyn is a barrister, academic and activist, former anti-discrimination commissioner, High Court and Court of Appeal judge, chief judge of the Family Court and employment judge. She's advocated, spoken, written, published and demonstrated for women's rights and specifically for the right to be free from abuse and unlawful killing. By including reference to honor-based abuse in the modules she delivers at the University of Buckingham, she enables students to learn the importance of using legal skills to help end violence against women and girls.
Jocelyn, thank you for all you do to take a stand against honor-based abuse. Please come forward. Thank you. Next, we've got Nadia Tariq. Nadia is a family solicitor in the international family team at Ben Hall Bell LLP, a firm in the Northeast that specialises in honour-based abuse. She helps women secure non-molestation orders, forced marriage protection orders, and female genital mutilation protection orders. She also assists with children's proceedings. In a recent complex case involving trafficking and child abduction, she succeeded in the Court of Appeal, and the case was reported in the law report. She helps women access refuges and provides training on honour-based abuse. She is praised as being a passionate defender of the rights of minoritised women. Which is a wonderful way to be described. Nadia. Oh.
Sure, I'll do it. Nadia, thank you for all you do to take a stand against honor-based abuse. Please come to the front to receive your certificate.
So we will now be announcing the winners of awards of special recognition before we announce the winner of the True Honour Awards 2023.
Shamsa Darwai, winner of special recognition as inspiring activist tackling honor-based violence. Shamsa is passionate. Please. Shamsa is a passionate activist. She's a survivor of FGM, forced marriage, domestic abuse, and honor-based abuse. She grew up in London in a controlling household. Age 17, she was pressured to travel to Somalia to be recultured, and her British passport was taken away so that she couldn't leave. She was forced into an abusive marriage. A year later, she managed to escape and return to the UK. She's been failed over and over again by organizations, hospitals, local authorities, social services, and her college, who turned a blind eye to the issues she was facing. Shamsa is driven by a relentless determination to make a difference so that others will not face the same abuse and failings that she has. She does youth work, trains new recruits to the Metropolitan Police Service, and speaks at events with charities across the UK. An online video about her lived experiences and work was watched more than 2 million times. Shamsa is a key activist featured in the Mayor of London's FGM Stops Here campaign, which launched on the International Day of Zero Tolerance for FGM 2023. Shamsa is now working on establishing her charity, Garden of Peace, a safe space for women and young people to plant their seed to kickstart their healing journey.
Shamsa, congratulations on your award and everything you do to take a stand against honor-based abuse. Please come forward and share a few words with us if you would like to.
Everyone's got it? Okay. Thank you so much. I honestly don't know what to say. I'm so overwhelmed. Even just being here is an honor for me. Today I stand here not as an individual survivor, but I stand here for the 200 million, over 200 million women who have been affected and the millions that have died because of this practice and the harmful practices that are happening around the world. I love women. I love young women. And I'm just really honored for this. And this isn't just for me, it's for everyone. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Frady Rees, Unchained at Last, winner of the Special Recognition for International Commitment to Ending Honour-Based Violence. Frady Rees is a survivor turned activist. She was 19 when she was forced to marry a stranger who turned out to be violent and was subjected to a virginity examination before the wedding. When she finally managed to escape her abusive forced marriage, her family shunned her. Frady rebuilt her life and founded Unchained at Last, the only organisation dedicated to ending forced and child marriage in the United States through direct services and advocacy. Frady is considered one of the foremost experts on these abuses in the US, and her research and writing has been published extensively, including in the New York Times, Washington Post, the Journal of Adolescent Health, and Oxford Press. She's been featured in books including Hillary and Chelsea Clinton's The Book of Gutsy Women. Films including the award-winning documentary Knots, A Forced Marriage Story, and countless television, radio, and print news stories. Through Unchained, Frady has helped hundreds of survivors escape forced marriages, and she now leads a growing national movement to end child marriage in every US state and at the federal level. Legislation she helped to write and promote has been passed into law in multiple US states. Congratulations to Frady on her award, and our thanks for all she does to take a stand against honour-based abuse. Unfortunately, she cannot be with us tonight, but we will be passing the award to her. But let's have a round of applause.
Next up is the winner of special recognition for long-standing commitment to ending honour-based violence, Marzia Babakar Khail. I'll have another go at that. Marzia Babakar Khail. Marzia was a judge in Baghlan, Afghanistan, and from 1991 to 1998. She was passionate about women's rights in Afghanistan, and in spite of the threat of the Taliban, in 1994, she established the Afghan Women's Social and Cultural Organization to empower women. She was also chairperson of the Women's Committee at the Afghan NGO Coordination Bureau. Marzia was forced to flee Afghanistan in 2008. She was targeted by the Taliban for setting up a foundation for educating girls in Pakistan. They tried to kill her in a high-speed hit-and-run incident. She was severely injured and spent 6 months in hospital. As an asylum seeker, Marzia worked tirelessly as a volunteer, supporting grassroots organizations. In 2017, she won the Fusion Women of the Year Award and was nominated for a Pride Award in Oldham. She has been shortlisted for a Northern Powerhouse Women's Award as an outstanding mentor. Marzia worked as a caseworker with Oldham MP Debbie Abrahams, and she has become a speaker, trainer, and leader in many community projects in the UK, advocating for people facing disadvantage, particularly in the refugee community. Since the Taliban took power in Afghanistan in 2021, Marzia has been campaigning for Afghan female judges to be resettled in safe countries and is a consistent voice on the international media. Marzia, congratulations on your award. Thank you for all you do to take a stand against honour-based violence.
Go a bit closer a bit.
Oh, camera. Is that one?
Now we can see it.
Ah, okay.
It is a huge honor for me to receive this award from your organization. When the people, they recognize your work and your job, that encourage you. I think my voice became more louder and I stand against injustice all my life. I'm 56 when I was stand against injustice in my country, Afghanistan. I was 25 years old. Today I'm 56 years old. And I'm so honored to know you. I'm your ward. And women just keep shining. If I'm not died and if I'm not stopped, everybody should fight. I'm alone. When I arrived in this country, I cannot speak a word of English. This is my life, it's my responsibility. If we not improve ourselves, how can we improve other people's life? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we have Mino Himati, winner of special recognition for lifetime activism to end honor-based violence. Mino has dedicated her life to shining a spotlight on honor-based abuse and the abuse of women's rights in Iran and Afghanistan. She ensures the truth is exposed and breaking silence and taboos. 20 years ago, in 2004, Mino established Rahaizan TV, a weekly program broadcast via satellite in Farsi, which is watched by people within Iran, Afghanistan, and Tajikistan, as well as across the Middle East, North America, and Europe. Mino is the producer and host journalist of the program. Mino is also editor of the Emancipation of Women monthly publication. Mino ensures that people within Iran and Afghanistan and globally know about crucial information which the authoritarian states try to keep from them, in particular the abuse of women's rights enacted under Islamic penal law, such as stoning. She's also highlighted the ongoing harmful practice of FGM within the region. Mino helped ensure the safety of many Afghan women who were in grave danger, including TV presenters and activists, supporting them as they left Afghanistan to find safe passage and refuge. She continues to highlight the abuses of the Taliban. Mino is also a vital voice, crucially heard by people within Iran on the woman life freedom revolution. Congratulations to Mino on her award and thank you for all she does to take a stand against honour-based abuse. Unfortunately, she cannot be with us tonight, but we will ensure that the award gets to her. But let's have a round of applause.
Congratulations to me. Next up is Dr. Sabin Bakir-Tardi, winner of special recognition for academic contribution to end honor-based abuse. Sabin is a counseling psychologist, an academic, and a lecturer in psychology at Roehampton University. She's a leading expert on the impact of honor-based abuse on mental health and how to work therapeutically with survivors. Sabin worked with IKWRO for over 7 years and led the counseling team, which provides specialist therapy for women who experience honor-based abuse, forced marriage, female genital mutilation, and domestic abuse. She continues to work directly with survivors of trafficking, FGM, forced marriage, and domestic violence in her clinical practice, Mindsight Center. Her work has had a profound impact on the lives of so many women traumatized by honor-based abuse. Sabin delivers specialist workshops to the next generation of training therapists, developing their understanding on how to work therapeutically with individuals who experience honor-based abuse, forced marriage, and FGM. Sabin regularly shares her expertise in public speaking and is consulted for campaigns and film projects, including the BBC's award-winning Murdered by My Father. There remains a lack of research from a psychological perspective on tailoring the evidence-based approach to support survivors. Seven's own research and her work supervising doctoral level research that qualitatively acknowledges the voice and needs of survivors is addressing this gap. Seven, congratulations on your award. And thank you.
I actually have a confession to make. Even though I come from a community where honor-based abuse and violence takes place, it was only when I started working with IKWRO that I found the right terminologies and understood how important it is to have a strategic way in working and tackling all various forms of violences. I want to thank IKWRO because I would not have been able to do the work that I do had I not had that experience in working with IKWRO. Diana, you're an inspiring person, and your leadership within IKWRO has inspired me to take a lot of that learning outside within the education sector and to other professionals. I want to also thank Nazira because her kindness and her persistence in always looking for a solution to any problem, it makes it possible for a lot of the victims to find justice. I don't have enough time to list all the names, but I do want to emphasize that IKWRO, in terms of their admin, from their admin team to their counseling team, their training, and their am missing something, management campaign, everything together really makes a great contribution. It makes it possible for professionals also to have a place to go to for advice. And the work that you guys do is tremendous, and I know it requires a lot of sacrifice from your own personal lives, because when you work at IKWRO, it's difficult to switch off. Your mind is constantly worrying and thinking about what possible, the possibilities of different things that the clients can face. So thank you, guys.
Now to Naomi Wiseman, winner of the Special Recognition for Driving Change. Naomi is a barrister specialising in children's law and children's rights. She provides pro bono legal advice for survivors seeking family court orders for protection and financial provision. 4 years ago, IKWRO's campaign team sought expert advice from Naomi. She's played a pivotal role in the major campaign milestones achieved this year, banning 3 harmful practices: virginity testing, hymenoplasty, and child marriage. Naomi truly understands the nuances of the changes that survivors wanted to see. She drafted suggested wording for the legislation on hymenoplasty and child marriage. She presented legal briefings to government and advocated alongside IKWRO at parliamentary meetings and events. Her advice helped MPs and ministers to work through the legal complexities. She helped develop public support by speaking at conferences, writing in journals, and appearing in the media, including The Guardian and BBC Breakfast. She was an expert for ITV's exposure, Britain's virginity clinics uncovered. Naomi was recognised for her pro bono advice work in the Sunday Times Alternative Honours List for 2021. Naomi is currently involved in a challenge against the Home Office in relation to the missing unaccompanied asylum-seeking children. Naomi, congratulations on your award, and thank you for all you do to take a stand against violence.
Thank you. I mean, Diana, I have to thank you because it's already been said, but has anyone met a more tenacious campaigner than you? And you managed to bring people together, and
the way that you inspire people at IKWRO. And I was part of that. You know, we just look boring lawyers. What do we know? And it's about finding the people that can inspire you to actually think that it's what you know, to actually make a difference. And I really have you to thank for that. And also Sarah, who's not here, who's amazing, who was the campaign manager. And Hazy, who also sadly is not here because she's wiped herself out with all of her campaign work last week. Because working with survivors, again, is something that is so profoundly moving. And again, trying to find solutions for people who have managed to survive and overcome such adversity. To be able to sit down with lawyers and with politicians and actually try to work out how we can stop other girls and other women from suffering in the way that they have, again, is something that is just truly inspiring. So I'm not sure I really should have this. I think it's for all of you. But thank you so much, Diana.
We will now announce the winner of the True Honour Award 2023. Mama Silla is a community support worker, a mother of 3, including twin girls and a survivor of FGM. Mama Silla was born and raised in Guinea, a country with the highest FGM prevalence. She went through FGM when she was 9 years old. Looking back, she says it was extremely painful. I bled for 3 days. I was lucky to survive. They said a witch had put a curse on me. FGM is so common in Guinea that Mama Silla says she grew up not questioning it until much later as an adult when she was pregnant. And Mama Silla faced serious health complications as a result of the FGM, and she was referred to a specialist FGM antenatal team. I'm learning about the different types of FGM and its long-term complications, especially during childbirth. Mama Silla spoke to women from her community. It was then that she realised that women in her community had access to very little information on FGM and its detrimental implications. She says many women die giving birth. People will say it's because the baby was too big, but it's because the mother cannot push because she's been cut. From then, Mama Silla made it her primary mission to protect her children and any other woman or girl from being cut.
Mama Silla established La Fraternite Guinea in 2016, a grassroots charity working to end FGM in the UK and in Guinea. She runs safeguarding workshops and events within the Guinean and Western African communities across the UK and campaigns for the promotion of healthcare and education, especially for young deprived girls in the Republic of Guinea. Mama Silla has worked extensively over the past 15 years in a volunteer capacity, doing community outreach support alongside a number of charitable organizations, including Forward UK, Family Action, the British Red Cross, and 28 Too Many, as well as within the NHS. She participated in IKWRO's Chat project, funded by the European Union, and has referred several women to IKWRO for specialist FGM support. She's a member of the 28 Too Many Board of Trustees. In 2015, her community work was celebrated with an award from the British Red Cross. In 2018, she was part of the Home Office's End FGM campaign, Let's Protect Our Girls. In 2019, she participated in Operation Limelight at Heathrow Airport to tackle FGM and honor-based abuse. In 2020, Le Fraternite Guinea received the Point of Light Award from the then British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. Mama Silla is inspirational. She's a great example of an empowered woman that empowers women and girls, first as a role model, and secondly, as a persuasive campaigner. She reminds us that specialist services are essential to reducing honor-based abuse. She works within the community to educate and successfully shift attitude on FGM.
Mama Silla says, my dream is to see a world free of FGM and any harmful practices. I have 2 daughters and they mean the world to me. They are the first generation for my family that will never undergo FGM. Mama Silla, you are winner of the True Honour Awards 2023. Congratulations and thank you.
Not even sure where to start, right? Because 20 years ago, if you would have told me like I'll be standing here, then no, I would say no. So it's like all has been said here. I was born and grew up normal until 2015 when I was pregnant with my boy. Then I knew about health implication, you know, the low side of it in the UK. Then I started digging. So my community was again behind. No one, when you go to like a meeting, you can only hear about the Somalian community or the people from Sierra Leone, but not him. So I was the first one to bring my community in terms of FGM and safeguarding children in the UK. So I'm honored. Thank you so much. Salma, she's the one that introduced me to IKWRO. She's my sister now from the world. And all of you guys, everyone. And also I want to thank my team, who is represented by Zainab Martin. They all wanted to be here tonight, but they couldn't. Thank you. I'm honored and, you know, we are in together. Thank you so much.
Thank you and congratulations to all the winners and all the nominees. We'll now hand over to Nicole Jacobs, long-term supporter of IKWRO, who will say a few final words and close the ceremony. Welcome back.
Thank you, and I think you two deserve a round of applause. And I mean, I don't know what to say. I feel a bit of a fraud being able to say the closing words to you. I cannot explain to you for the award winners tonight and former award winners just how much I admire the work that you do and how strongly I feel you should be recognized. And I just am so pleased you've had this platform and this recognition. And I will commit, I promise, to telling everyone I know about what you've done and what we've heard tonight. I think it's well known, but I think all of us should amplify your work as much as we possibly can. So I'm so honored to know you, to be here and meet you in person. So thank you very much. And as for IKWRO, I mean, a huge round of applause to the whole team. I think you're so generous, and I feel so like IKWRO to be able to pull this kind of award together. Obviously, several people have talked about being inspired by what you do and the way you work in partnership, and that is the pathway forward, is to amplify each other's work, to be inspired by each other. And I just think IKWRO deserves so much recognition, and you and your leadership, Diana, in doing this for us collectively. So thank you so much, and I will do everything I can, and should do everything I can, obviously, to support the work honored tonight, and particularly the work of IKWRO. Because it is phenomenal. So I can't say any more. I'm sure you all share that view, but thank you. I'm very humbled to be even able to say a few words to you. So thank you so much for coming. And I'm assuming at this point we draw to a close and we meet and greet outside and have a drink and see each other a bit more informally. So thank you so much for coming.